The tires crunched on the deserted asphalt, echoing through the empty landscape. Sarah Green rolled slowly into Centralia, a town frozen in time, its eerie silence a stark contrast to the bustling world she left behind. Boarded-up buildings lined the cracked streets like empty eyes staring back at her, each one a silent witness to the town's tragic past. The air hung heavy with silence, broken only by the wind whistling through broken windows, carrying with it the whispers of forgotten lives. It was a place where time stood still, a ghost town whispering forgotten secrets, each corner holding a story untold. Sarah had heard the stories, tales of a town consumed by an inferno from below, a fire that started in the mines and never ceased, an unquenchable fire burning for decades beneath the very ground she stood on, creating a hellish landscape above. Now she was here to experience the truth for herself, to see if the legends matched the reality, to explore the remnants of a community forever scarred by the relentless heat beneath their feet, a place where life had been extinguished, but memories lingered. But more than that, she was drawn to a particular house, the Howell house, standing defiant amidst the desolation, a symbol of resilience in a town marked by tragedy. The Centralia mine fire, a relentless beast of heat and ash, had been raging for over 50 years. It started innocently enough, a trash fire in the landfill, but it quickly spread to the rich coal seams beneath the town. Efforts to extinguish the inferno proved futile. The fire had become a subterranean monster, impossible to tame. The residents had been forced to flee, their homes and lives claimed by the relentless heat. The air itself carried the acrid tang of sulphur, a constant reminder of the inferno below. Even now, wisps of smoke curled from cracks in the pavement, like the earth itself was exhaling its fiery breath. Centralia was a stark reminder of nature's power, a testament to the destructive forces lying dormant beneath the surface. The Howell house loomed before her, a Victorian mansion untouched by the decay that plagued the rest of Centralia. It stood on a hill overlooking the town, a solitary sentinel against the encroaching desolation. Yet there was something undeniably eerie about its pristine facade. The paint, though faded, was still remarkably intact, and the windows, though dark, seemed to watch her with an unnerving intensity. As Sarah stepped out of her car, a shiver ran down her spine. An unnatural stillness enveloped the house, as if it existed in a bubble separate from the rest of the ghost town. Even the wind seemed to avoid it, leaving the trees around it eerily still. It was as if the house itself held its breath, waiting for her to make the first move. Stepping inside the Howell house was like stepping into another world. The air seemed to thicken with each step, as if the house itself was alive, breathing in the presence of an intruder. The air was thick with the smell of dust and decay, but there was another scent underneath, something metallic and ancient. It was a scent that hinted at stories long forgotten, secrets buried deep within the walls. The house was surprisingly well preserved, with furniture still in place as if frozen in time. Each room was a snapshot of a bygone era, untouched by the passage of years. It was as if the previous occupants had simply vanished, leaving everything exactly as it was. The eerie stillness was almost palpable, a haunting reminder of lives once lived. Sarah wandered through the rooms, her footsteps echoing in the silence. Each creak of the floorboards seemed to whisper secrets, urging her to uncover the mysteries hidden within. She ran her fingers along a dusty bookshelf, her fingertips tracing the titles of forgotten books. The spines were brittle, the pages yellowed with age, each book a relic of the past. Then she came to a door at the end of a long hallway. The hallway seemed to stretch on forever, the shadows playing tricks on her eyes. It was made of heavy iron with a large padlock securing it. Curiosity gnawed at her, a burning desire to know what lay beyond, what lay hidden behind that locked door. The question echoed in her mind, growing louder with each passing second. What secrets were the Howell family so determined to keep? The air seemed to hum with anticipation, as if the house itself was waiting for her to uncover its darkest truths. Nightfall descended upon the Howell house, cloaking it in an even deeper sense of foreboding. The silence, if possible, grew heavier, punctuated now by the creaking of the old house as it settled around her. Sitting alone in the darkness, Sarah could have sworn she heard whispers, faint and indistinct, coming from the walls themselves. At the stroke of midnight she heard it again, a soft, mournful sigh, seeming to originate from the locked iron door at the end of the hall. It was a sound filled with an unspeakable sadness, a yearning for something lost. Fear, cold and sharp, pierced through Sarah's curiosity. She was certain now that she was not alone in the Howell house. Sleep, when it finally came, was far from restful. Sarah's dreams were haunted by flickering images of the house, its shadows twisting into grotesque shapes. She dreamt of flames dancing beneath the floorboards and heard the terrified screams of people trapped within the inferno. Each time she felt herself drifting off, the whispers would return, winding their way into her subconscious, feeding her growing terror. The house, she realized, was not just a place of memory, but a repository of something far more sinister, something that whispered to her in the dead of night, something that watched her every move. Morning arrived, painting the walls of the Howell house with a pale, sickly light. Exhaustion clung to Sarah like a shroud, the remnants of a night plagued by unsettling dreams. As she moved through the house, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched, her every step scrutinized by unseen eyes. Even the sunlight seemed unable to penetrate the oppressive atmosphere, casting long, distorted shadows that danced across the walls. The house, she realized, was like a living entity, its very structure imbued with the sorrow and fear that had unfolded within its walls. The feeling of being observed intensified throughout the day. Every time Sarah turned her back, she could have sworn she heard the floorboards creak or felt a cold spot brush against her skin. The whispers, once confined to the night, now seemed to follow her every move, faint and insidious like the whispers of ghosts. Even the air itself felt heavy with unspoken secrets, as if the house itself was trying to communicate with her. But what was it trying to say? Was it a warning or an invitation? As the sun began its final descent, casting long shadows across Centralia, the town seemed to hold its breath, as if waiting for something to happen. The eerie silence was only broken by the occasional rustle of leaves in the wind. Sarah knew she couldn't stay in the Howell house any longer. The memories of the past, the strange occurrences, and the unsettling atmosphere had taken their toll on her. The oppressive atmosphere, the whispers, the creaking floors, and the shadows that seemed to move on their own, the constant feeling of being watched, it was all too much. Every corner of the house seemed to have eyes watching her every move. Yet, as she prepared to leave, packing her bags with trembling hands, she couldn't shake the feeling that she was leaving something unfinished. There was a nagging sensation in the back of her mind, urging her to stay and uncover the truth. The Howell house held secrets, dark and ancient, she was sure of it. Secrets that were waiting to be discovered, hidden in the shadows and the walls. Secrets buried deep within its walls, behind the cracks and the peeling wallpaper. Secrets whispered on the wind. Secrets that beckoned her, calling out to her in the dead of night, challenged her to uncover the truth. She felt a strange determination, a pull that she couldn't ignore. And as she drove away from the ghost town, the road stretching out before her like a path to the unknown, the image of that locked iron door with its rusted hinges and ancient lock, and the whispers that seemed to emanate from it, filled her thoughts. It was as if the door itself was calling her back, remained burned into her mind. She couldn't escape the feeling that the house still had more to reveal. She knew then that she would be back. The pull of the mystery was too strong to resist. The mystery of the Howell house, with its dark windows and haunting presence, and of Centralia itself, was far from over. The town held its own secrets, intertwined with those of the house, waiting to be uncovered.